Hello everyone, welcome to Jets Central here on Jets TV. I'm going to be doing my Week 17 recaps really quickly. Please comment, rate, subscribe, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. As usual, it's go Jets. Unbiased sports talk though. I got my Jets stuff and I'm finally back on location. I know I got a lot of inbox hit up saying, God, will you stop traveling? Get back to your house. Okay, look guys, I'm here and I'm recording. Again, we're going to go through some of these games really quickly. I really want to talk about the Jets game. Really going to talk about, playoff teams and, important stuff. So if I cut through your team, it's because you guys aren't in the playoffs anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and get into it. New Orleans 45, Carolina 17, took New Orleans in this game. They got a win. Drew Brees threw for 389. Clearly, New Orleans is going into the playoffs. They're extremely hot. Carolina sucks. Carolina doesn't suck. Their offense actually is pretty good, but their defense is really bad. But they have something to hang their hat on. Cam Newton should win Rookie of the Year, hands down. So outside of, maybe Andy Dalton will challenge Cam Newton, but you can't not give that award to Cam Newton. You just can't. So New Orleans got the win. Good job, New Orleans is in the playoffs. New England 49, Buffalo 21, took New England in this game. They got the job done. Brady had 338 in this game, throwing the ball. Buffalo really has things they need to work on in the offseason. But New England is actually going to be the seeded number one in the AFC. They get a first round bye, so hats off to them. And, I got to win. Chicago 17, Minnesota 13, took Minnesota in this game. Chicago beat them. Caleb Haney clearly was not the answer for Chicago Bears. They brought in Tim Couch. He looked decent. Minnesota really does not have a lot to hang their hat on. They looked really bad. J.C. Webb actually ended up throwing for 200 yards. J.C. Webb is a guy who I believe should be the starter in Minnesota, but they might still try to keep Christian Ponder. One thing that Minnesota can hang their hat on for this season is Jared Allen. Jared Allen looked unblockable in this game. They had 3 guys on Jared Allen at one point. The tackle, the tight end, and the running back, and they were chipping him, and he was still breaking through all of them and sacking Tim Couch. Unbelievable. I don't know what else you can clean house in Minnesota if you want to, but you better not get rid of Jared Allen or you're done for the season. So Chicago ended up winning the game. Hats off to them. I took Minnesota anyway, and they lost. San Francisco 34, St. Louis 27. I took San Francisco in this game. Kellen Clemens 226. He ended up jacking his ankle up in this game, so he ended up leaving. But it doesn't matter. St. Louis sucks. They lost. They actually ended up firing their head coach, Steve Spagnuolo. He knew he was going to get fired because he handshaked everybody and kissed people on the cheek and waved at everyone on his way out. He knew he was gone, but it doesn't matter because he already got that money. So hats off to San Francisco. They're in the playoffs. So good luck to them. Green Bay 45, Detroit 41. I took Detroit in this game. I thought that Green Bay would sit their starters. They did for the most part, but Matt Flynn came out and threw for the most yards in single game in Packers history. Matt Stafford threw for 520. Even though Matt Stafford threw for more than him, he still set the Packers records. Matt Flynn looked extremely good in this game. The same way he looked in the New England game earlier this year. He is definitely auditioning for a starting role or a starting quarterback spot on some other teams in the NFL. He probably is going to be he definitely is going to be a free agent this year. So, excuse me. So definitely look at him. To be starting on a team near you that doesn't have a quarterback already. So, hats off to the Green Bay Packers. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. So it really doesn't. They're in the playoffs. They already got a first round bye. So they'll be resting up and getting ready. Detroit actually is going to end up going to New Orleans with this loss. So good luck to Detroit because you are going to have your hands full. Philadelphia 34, Washington 10. Washington sucks. Philadelphia has some things they need to work on as well. Philly's not going to the playoff, neither is Washington. Vic threw for 335 in this game, but it doesn't matter. Andy Reid is actually not going to get fired. Philadelphia, owners have came out and said that. So, but there's going to be some shakeups. Philadelphia is going to have a lot of questions this offseason. What about McCoy? What are you going to do about getting him signed? Deshaun Jackson, are you going to re-sign him? These are all stuff that Philly has to do with. So good luck to Philadelphia. They got a win. They got me a win. Jacksonville 19, Indy 13. I took Indy in this game. That got me a loss. Jacksonville sucks, but Maurice Jones-Drew got the rushing title. He had 169 yards in this game, and he still got the job done. Bright spot for Jacksonville is, even though you guys are garbage, Maurice Jones-Drew is probably the best running back in the league. Yes, I said it. He got the rushing title on a trash team that has no offensive line whatsoever. He's making his own holes and he's making his own plays. So come after me if you want to, bro. But Maurice Jones-Drew has the rushing title, so whatever. And Indy is cleaning house. They fired Bill Polian, Jim Caldwell, the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. His job might be on the line as well. Jim Irsay basically has said no one is safe. No one is safe. I'm going to fire you all. Disappointing year, so good luck to them. Good luck to both of those teams. Neither one of them will be in the playoffs. And that got me a loss because I took Indy instead of Jacksonville. Tennessee 23, Houston 22. I took Houston in this game. TJ Yates, the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. His shoulder got jacked up. He was gone out of the game. Matt Hasselbeck threw for 297 in this game and basically came back, boom, got the job done, won the game. Tennessee had a chance at making the playoffs early, but with that win, that pretty much shut the Jets out of the playoffs. That was pretty much the only playoff implication they had. But, Tennessee has some things they need to work on in the offseason, as well as Houston. Houston is actually going to the playoffs. So whether, they won or lost, it really didn't matter. They were already in the playoffs. So hats off to Houston. But if I'm a team that's going into Houston in the playoffs, I'm licking my chops because this team definitely has some problems as far as their quarterback play. Yates has not looked good in these past couple games, and now with that shoulder separation, it's not on his throwing shoulder, it's on his other shoulder, but still, that's going to affect his grip. That's going to affect him coming out, pulling out of center. That's going to affect, his handoff, ability as well. These are things that it's going to affect. So I'm definitely looking, if I'm a team, if I'm playing a team in the playoffs right now, I don't want to go into New England. I would have no problem going into Houston. So shout out to them. Arizona 23, Seattle 20. I took Seattle in this game. They lost. This game actually went into overtime. Arizona ended up kicking the field goal, getting out of there. These are two teams that are garbage. They're both in the NFC West. Arizona has a horrible defense. Seattle has, a horrible pass defense and also a really bad receiver core. Sidney Rice has done nothing for Seattle. The only bright spot in Seattle right now is Marshawn Lynch. He is looking like a murderer. He will run through you and run past you. But outside of that, there's really nothing to be afraid of in Seattle. So Arizona, Larry Fitzgerald had a great game. And he also had a bruised lung. He was spitting up blood and was still making catches. Just one-handers across the middle. It was crazy. But Arizona has some things to work on. Question marks about Kevin Cobb. What did you pick him up for if you're starting Josh Skelton? Just things that go through my head. You waste a draft pick on Kevin Cobb, but you end up starting Josh Skelton, who was already there anyway. So Josh Skelton actually had 271 in this game, but hey, neither one of these teams is going to the playoffs, so good luck to the Arizona Cardinals. And that got me a loss because I picked Seattle. Kansas City 7, Denver 3. Took Kansas City in this game. This game sucked to watch. Denver, actually, with this loss, even though they lost, they still got into the playoffs. They're the last seed in the AFC. They ended up they're going to go into Pittsburgh for their first round game. Good luck to that. Tim Tebow looked horrible in this game. He threw interceptions. He had fumbles trying to run the ball. It was just bad. Orton had 180 throwing the ball. Bright spot for Kansas City is they're not a horrible team when you look at them on paper, but they had horrible coaching. Romeo Crennel is actually now the head coach, and he's turned them around. I think that Romeo Crennel should be considered for a head coaching position with the Kansas City Chiefs next year. He should be the head coach, and I really think that he could put this team on the map. I really think that Romeo Crennel could put this team in a position to be winners. Okay, guys, hit me up if you know what I'm talking about. Hit me up, guys, Kansas City Chiefs fans. Let me know, do you think Romeo Crennel is the man to lead this team? Because I do. Next game. Atlanta 45, Tampa Bay 24. Took Atlanta in this game. That got me a win. Atlanta absolutely destroyed Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay actually fired their head coach, Raheem Morris, right after this game. Tampa Bay's been getting destroyed all year. They've had enough of it. Josh Freeman has made a lot of dumb decisions. He threw some interceptions in this game as well. Atlanta really slowed down because they really could have blown these boys out. I mean, bad, but, they took the brakes off. Tampa Bay goes into the offseason with things to work at, and get better. But Atlanta actually is going to be in the playoffs, so hats off to Atlanta. Baltimore 24, Cincinnati 16. Took Baltimore in this game. They got the job done. Ray Rice had 191 yards rushing. Cincinnati has a lot to hang their hat on for the season. If they would have won this game, they would have gotten to the playoffs, but Baltimore was not playing this year. They were not playing. They wanted to win this game so they could win the NFC East or the AFC North title, and that's exactly what they did. Cincinnati again has a lot to hang their hat on. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, they look great, especially for rookies. You can only know they're probably going to just take a step forward again next season and get better. Baltimore with this win wins the AFC North title, and they're in the playoffs, as well. So hats off to them. Pittsburgh 13, Cleveland 9. I took Pittsburgh in this game. Cleveland sucks. They just need to just fix everything in Cleveland. Baltimore with this win again seals up that AFC wild card. They have the first wild card spot, and again they're going to play Denver in the first round of the playoffs. So hats off to Pittsburgh. San Diego 38, Oakland 26. Took San Diego in this game. At one point in this game, Oakland, if they would have won this game, actually would have been in the playoffs. The only reason why Denver's in the playoffs is because Oakland lost. If Oakland wins this game, they end up winning the AFC West. This is crazy. Oakland was just typical Oakland Raiders stuff. Typical stupid penalties, typical bad interceptions, typical, failed drives, just typical Oakland Raiders stuff. I'm not even going to say anything about it anymore. Carson Palmer had 417 throwing the ball, but he had an interception in his game that was just mind-boggling. Nobody was even around where he threw the ball, and it was a drive killer. Not only was it a drive killer, but it was a game killer. So hats off to San Diego. They kept Oakland out the playoffs, and Oakland has some things they need to work on this offseason. Which part of it is losing that ridiculous mentality about penalties, and they're the most penalized. They had penalties in this game, which made them the most penalized team in a single season history. They did the same exact thing last year in 2010. This is just it. I'm not even going to talk about Oakland. I'm not. Look, Oakland Raiders fans, hit me in my inbox, make comments. I'm telling you. Your team was a playoff team, okay? But let me tell you, you make horrible mental mistakes. You don't capitalize on turnovers. You kill drives with horrible interceptions. It's just bad. All bad in Oakland. They need to fix that. But neither one of these teams are going into the playoffs. Thanks to your loss, Oakland. You're not in the playoffs. So neither one of these teams are in the playoffs. So go home and fix what you need to fix. Dallas at the New York Giants. This was one of the games that I was looking forward to. Whichever team won this game actually ended up winning the NFC East and going to the playoffs. Well, let me tell you. Dallas 14, New York Giants 31. New York Giants came out and just absolutely killed Dallas. It seemed to me that the New York Giants wanted it more. Victor Cruz is such a playmaker for the New York Giants. It's not even funny. He was catching balls that were thrown way over his head. He was climbing a ladder and catching them, jumping up and taking them away from corners. Dallas looked pitiful in this game. And I don't think it's all Tony Romo anymore. I don't. That defense looked like Swiss cheese. I mean, you guys couldn't cover a bed with a bed sheet. I took Dallas in this game, and they got the loss. So hats off to the New York Giants. They're going into the playoffs. They win the NFC East, so good luck to them. But last but not least, the New York Jets. There's so many things that need to be worked on in New York. It's not even funny anymore. This game really made me question our player personnel picks. Miami beat us 19-17, and let me tell you, Mark Sanchez looked awful. He threw 3 bad interceptions. 2 of them was to a defensive lineman. The same defensive lineman. He threw 2 interceptions to the same defensive lineman. And 1 was to a garbage third-string linebacker. Mark Sanchez looked horrible. Santonio Holmes didn't even have a catch the entire game. He wasn't even running his routes hard. He quit on the team. We had infighting. We had fights on the sideline between the Jets players. We had fights on the field between the Jets players. We had fights in the locker room between the Jets players. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Santonio Holmes, the last 2 minutes of the game, actually sat down. He was benched by Brian Schottenheimer. Mind you, Rex Ryan doesn't even notice Santonio Holmes is not even out there, which shows that he's unaware as a coach, unaware as a head coach of the New York Jets. He has no clue what's going on with his team. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's getting worse every single day. There's more reports coming out. There's more reports coming out about how, pretty much every player on the Jets like hates each other. Plexico Burress is selfish. Santonio Holmes is selfish. Santonio Holmes should have never been named a captain, which is true. He never should have been named a captain. And I said that in a lot, to a lot of people on message boards and a lot of people that hit me up, and I was called crazy, but it's the God to honest truth. The Jets just really look bad. We have a lot of things we need to improve on. Brian Schottenheimer is actually going to be brought back. Santonio Holmes is going to be brought back. Mark Sanchez is going to be brought back. These are things that have already been said, but we're probably going to end up trading Santonio Holmes. Brian Schottenheimer is going to be interviewing for the head coaching job with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I hope to God that he gets it. And I hope he gets it because I don't want him to come back as the offensive coordinator for us. I really don't think that he's a good offensive coordinator at all. I don't think he has any clue. I'm not going to say he doesn't have a clue. I don't think he has a sense of rhythm. Play calling is all rhythm. You cannot run, just have common sense. You cannot run a stretch reverse against the Baltimore Ravens. We can't even run the ball. Why are you doing that? There was just so many bad calls this season by Brian Schottenheimer. It's not even funny, but whatever. They had a players meeting where Rex Ryan ended up crying and begging for team unity. It's just bad. Everything's bad and just over dramatized in New York, and I'm so tired of it. I just want us to fix our team and get into the playoffs, okay? How hard is that? We had a good team, and now we don't. You went out and you got a bunch of guys who honestly didn't fit on our team, and you tried to force fit things after chasing a 30-year-old corner in Niamdi instead of doing exactly what you should have done, which was exactly what killed us. You didn't go get any offensive line help. You didn't go get any secondary help for us, and you didn't make sure that you had a qualified backup for Mark. You know that Mark's not necessarily ready. You had him drop back 59 times against the Giants. with a weak right tackle in Wayne Hunter. Wayne Hunter's not a starting tackle in this league. Who are you fooling? You weren't fooling me, so I know for a fact you weren't fooling defensive coordinators. I mean, it's just so many problems with the Jets. I don't know, but Jason Taylor actually ended up retiring after this game. They carried him out on their shoulders. The Dolphins did. Hats off to JT. He had just a fabulous career. He played for us last year, so I got so much to say. I know this is a very long video. So go Jets, go Jets. That ends Jet Central. I'm gonna continue to do because I've been requested to continue to do through the playoffs. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing them all the way through the playoffs. I'll keep my videos going. But again, it's go Jets, guys, and thank you guys for watching. The Jets aren't in the playoffs, man. This sucks. Peace, guys. Peace.